Hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben Eller here, coming at you from the road. I'm currently at the beautiful Fillmore in Minneapolis, Minnesota, getting ready to rock it here on tour with Machine Head, the mighty Machine Head. Some of you guys might have already found out that I am on tour with the band for the summer, filling the shoes of legendary, incredible players like Reese Scruggs, Vogue from Decapitated, Phil Demmel, and so many other amazing players. It's an honor to be here. This gig fell on my lap very last minute, which means I didn't really have enough time to prepare some new content for you guys while I'm out here for the month of June. So, you know what we're doing? We're getting creative. As many of you guys know, my pride and joy is my lovely and loyal Patreon cult over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. That's where you can sign up for even just $1 a month and get access to all kinds of exclusive goodies like tour vlogs, studio vlogs, downloadable tabs, backing tracks, bonus lessons, and so many other good things, including videos like the one I'm going to show you guys today. This was previously a Patreon-only video as part of a series that I call Sketches. Now, the Sketches series is for when I have an idea and I'm really excited about it and I just kind of want to test it out without fully polishing it up, doing all the proper editing, all the proper camera angles and all that stuff. It's just kind of a test to see, is this a good idea or not a good idea? And then if it's a good idea, I'll polish it up later. And this particular video is one that I did about my picking style. I had a lot of questions from you guys about my choice of picks and how I hold them, specifically how far back on the pick I hold it. It's been a question I've gotten a lot recently because some of you guys have noticed I hold the pick fairly far back, and several other players do as well. Kiko Lorio, for example, holds the pick in kind of an odd way that shows quite a lot of it sticking out of the grip. And you guys had questions about that, and I'm here to answer it. If you guys enjoyed this video and want access to more cool, exclusive stuff like this, be sure to sign up today over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Even for just $1 a month, it's going to get you access to all the goods. And be sure to check out those Machine Head tour dates. That way I can come out and see you and give you a high five sometime over the summer. We're going to be out with Killswitch Engage, Havoc, tons of other amazing bands all summer long. The month of June, we're going all over the United States. Got a few fests that we're doing in July. August is mostly in Canada, and September we're back in the US. So find a date and hit me up. Let me give you a high five. Oh, one more thing before I forget. I'm gonna be filming like an FAQ about this entire experience. What landed me the gig, how I prepped for it, the gear, all that kind of stuff. So be sure to put some questions about the entire experience down there in the comment section, and hopefully we'll get all those answered up in a future FAQ video. Cheers. Well, hey there kids, it's your good buddy Uncle Ben, and welcome to a brand new installment of Sketches, the casual low maintenance guitar lesson series here just for you guys, my most lovely and loyal supporters here on Patreon, where we can literally and figuratively let our hair down, do something a little bit more like a relaxed fit, imperfect by design, no edits video for you guys. As I said in the first episode, these are ideas I'd like to eventually polish up and turn into full-fledged videos. But for now, you guys are going to get the off the top of my head, no edits, imperfect reflections on some of these ideas. And you guys can let me know what's good about this, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of, whatever, in a final version of this video. You guys really loved the first one that I did, and I appreciate that so much. Really. It's like really good for me to be able to put out something that is not perfect and have people be like, actually this was more awesome. It's like I was just in the room with you or whatever. I love hearing that. That's good feedback for me. So thank you guys so much for watching the first episode. If you haven't watched that yet, be sure to check it out. It's about the difficulty that a lot of people have playing on the high strings of the guitar when they can like shred riffs on the low strings all day. Check that one out if that sounds like a problem you've dealt with in the past. Now, today there's a topic that I want to talk about, which is our picks and our picking and so on, because I've gotten a lot of questions about this here recently, especially with the downward pick slanting boot camp video I put out here recently. The first question that I have here is about what types of picks that I use, and I want to cover that. And then another topic that I want to discuss in this video is how far back on the pick I hold it, because that's something a lot of people have had questions about based on how they've seen close-ups of me playing here recently. So pick-wise, I've always bounced around a lot, honestly. I'll have like something that I just think is the best pick I've ever found ever, and then in like 6 months it'll be like, well, on to the next one. This is better now, you know? I don't know, maybe I'm just always intrigued by hearing something that's new or feeling something that's new in my hand. So the novelty of it is what keeps me pursued in finding other picks that I like to mess with. Here lately I've been playing some old staples. For one, just the regular old plain Jane Dunlop Tortex .88, just a regular green one, no special shape, just a regular slightly rounded tip. And that's felt really great to me. I love the swish that they get. You can kind of get that like nice scratchy thing, the Van Halen and Paul Gilbert thing out of them, which I'm always chasing. So I like that about them. So I've been using those a lot, as well as the Dunlop Gator Grip .96. Again, just the regular one. You know, it's got that kind of nice grippy, powdery exterior on it. And nothing special about the shape. Slightly rounded tip, no big deal. I actually just ordered some custom print ones from my friends over there at Dunlop, so very excited about that. Got a fire truck going by, pardon the noise here. The one that I'm holding right now is what was on my desk, which is, well, formerly one of my custom prints on the Dunlop T3, which is kind of like a normal pick shape, but slightly pointier here at the end. You know, you can probably see that pretty well right there, or up against the black shirt. You can probably see it's not smaller or anything. It just has a little bit more point to it. I like these picks a lot. And this is also just the .88, you know. It's got a little bit of flex to it. What I find about these that I like is that I'm very comfortable playing rhythm or lead with them. There's times that I've flirted with like huge picks, like 3mm, you know, just rocks that you hold in your hand. And I find I really like using those for lead stuff, you know? There's something about the extra mass that it can kind of give and the extra chirp and attack it has on the strings just because of how big it is, you know? I think there's also something to say about the size and thickness of that pick, naturally shortening up the distance between strings. I think there's something to that, because this guy being .88, you know, it's further away from these two strings than a big old honker pick would be. It barely has to move to get in between the strings. So there's something to be said about that and maneuverability, I think, between the strings when you're playing a really big pick. But I hate playing rhythm on really big picks, you know? I would never track rhythms with like a big 2mm pick. It just sounds bad, and I don't know, I feel like it really beats my hand up because there's no flex, there's no give to it at all, you know? So I might dabble with some heavier picks if I'm doing a lot of lead playing, a lot of technical playing, but when it's time to play rhythms, I want something that's like 1mm or less, maybe 1.14 at the most is what I feel is comfortable for rhythm and lead. So that's what I've been going towards here lately. But yeah, there's just something about those thinner ones. They have that snap, they have that bite to them, you know? That I just don't really get out of big, huge picks. So enjoy the more moderately sized ones here recently. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about here is something that somebody brought up whenever they were watching the Downward Pick Slanting Bootcamp video, and they were asking me about how much pick I usually have hanging out, because they observed from watching the close-ups in that video that I frequently have a pretty decent amount of pick sticking out. And they were asking, like, do you just do that for demonstration purposes on video, or do you really play that way? Because there's a lot of people out there that have this huge thing about, you know, just leave like an atom of the pick sticking out from your thumb like that right there, and that's all that you need to play with hyper precision and stuff. That's true on paper, I guess, but I've kind of adapted to playing with a little bit more pick sticking out. Like, let me just not think about my grip here and start playing, and then I'll show you where I'm at. Yeah, about like that right there. So you'll see from my normal pick grip here, which is thumb and first finger, that's a decent amount of pick hanging out. I would say that that's probably off of like this side of my thumb, the side that I can see, I'm gonna say that that's a hearty, probably at least 4 to 4.5 millimeters of pick sticking out like that, which might be more than you'd imagine. A lot of the guys that prefer the teeny tiny, really pointy picks like your Jazz 3s and stuff, you'll see them playing and they have like less than a millimeter, sticking out of the thumb like that. Whenever I play like that, for one, I just always end up getting like every accidental pinch harmonic. Anytime I'm playing hard or really digging in, I just automatically do pinch harmonics. And obviously you don't want that all the time. You want it some of the time, but not all the time. So I don't like that about it. I just tend to do more harmonics. But whenever I play with the pick sticking out, more like that right there, again, hopefully against my black shirt, you can see that there. Whenever I play with the pick sticking out like that, it allows me to get a little bit more of the contact of the shoulder of the pick, meaning kind of the downward slope going towards the point, and the winds of the strings. Which again kind of gives it that raspiness that I love. I love that sound, I want to be reminded of the sound that I'm using a piece of plastic to hit a wound piece of metal. I like that sound personally, so I would miss that if I was playing with just a teeny tiny bit and I couldn't hear that little bit of rasp on the string. So I like the sound for one. But there's also a hidden advantage to playing this way. And it's funny because this is once again where I end up using my degree in art in an unexpected way. Because this is actually something I learned in art school. I was an art major at a community college in East Tennessee. I would hardly call it art school. But this is something I learned while getting my fancy schmancy arts degree. Okay, and this is something I apply to my picking, and I think about it in a variety of different ways. And this is one of those things that can kind of ripple outward and give you a lot of stuff to think about. But here's how it came into play in art class. Okay, you guys might have watched some fancy schmancy drawers, doing some sketching or whatever. And a lot of times these guys will hold the pencil very far back, like this right here. You'll see them doing sketches, maybe just fleshing out some forms and stuff, holding the pencil really far back. And then for detail work, you'll hold the pencil very close to the tip, right? There's a reason for this, and this is the same reason why I hold my pick this way too. So here's the deal, guys. If your hand is making a very small circle, like this right here, and you're holding the pencil very close to the tip, like this, that circle that comes out on the paper is going to be very representative of the size of motion your hand is making. Because what I'm calling the point of action, meaning the tip of the pencil where the action is happening, is very close to the point of motion. So they're going to be very representative of each other. Now, if we hold the pencil further back and make that same size circle, it's magnified bigly, isn't it? This is no longer a close representation of the motion of my wrist anymore. It's actually quite exaggerated because the point of action is further away from the point of motion. Now, this becomes even more intensified the further away the point of action and the point of motion become. I can make a teeny tiny little circle up here at my shoulder, and I'm drawing like a 2-inch, 3-inch circle here now with the tip of the pencil. The further away it is, the more exaggerated the motion becomes. Point of action, point of motion. I want you guys to keep this in mind here, because you can think about this stuff and the way it reflects your picking and where the motion is actually coming from too. It's pretty cool. So whenever we sketch like that, we can make these very broad gestures. They're very small gestures really with the hand, but they come out as big gestures on the paper. This can kind of help us just to sketch out and get some basic forms out there on the page before we come in and tighten them up with our close point of action, point of motion kind of thing, right? And with the pick, I think about it very much in the same way, where if I'm holding the pick very close to the tip, like that right there, then the motions my wrist makes and the motion the tip of the pick is making are going to be very similar to each other. Very similar. Not really magnified or demagnified at all. It's a pretty accurate representation of the motions that I'm actually making, happening right there at the tip of the pick. Now, the further back I hold the pick, see, you can already see the more exaggerated the motions become. Let's rewind that again here. So here it is really close to the tip. Again, you can see the tip of the pick is barely moving, the same way my hand is barely moving. I hold the pick further away, exaggerated. This is a much bigger motion here than my wrist is actually making. My wrist is barely moving. My wrist is moving very fast because I've had several cups of coffee today. So the point of motion, the point of action, all that stuff, again, here it is coming into play. And imagine the further away the point of motion gets to the point of action, meaning you're using your elbow to pick, even more exaggerated. I mean, look, my elbow is barely moving, right? Barely. Like if you were just ignoring all this stuff, my elbow is barely moving. The tip of the pick is moving huge now. Point of action, point of motion. Very big. So the further away it is, the more exaggerated the motion becomes. And I can kind of use this to my advantage whenever I'm playing the guitar, because if I'm holding the pick at a moderate distance like that, again, 4 to 5 millimeter away from the thumb thing, I can really focus on keeping my motions back here with my wrist very economical, very small motions. But I'm putting out a lot of power and a lot of motion with the pick because of how far back I'm holding it. It's pretty cool. It's almost like it helps me economize my motion in a lot of ways, you know? So then even small motions that I make with my arm or my wrist, like the motion I would use to do like a string skip, like that. I mean, I don't feel like I'm really making that big of a motion at all with the hand, with the wrist, you know? But because I'm holding the pick a little bit further back, that motion is slightly exaggerated, you know? So I end up making a bigger motion than I really feel like I'm making. I guess I could probably also argue that you could get confused by doing that when, you know, the motions aren't really representative of what you're feeling. But just like anything, you do it long enough, you kind of learn to get used to it, you know what I mean? There's probably an argument to be made there for keeping the motions as similar at the point of action to the point of motion as they could be. I'm sure that there's a lot of players that have great success doing it that way. I'm just not really one of them. I've just kind of gotten used to playing with the pick a little bit further back. First and foremost, because I like the sound. You know, that should always be the first choice, is how does it sound? You know, that should always be the first thing you think about in your decision making with anything in your playing. Does it sound better? No? Well, then don't do it. You know, we're all about sound here. So to me, it started off probably as a sound thing, and then I just kind of adapted to it, and it became a technical thing for me as well, where I learned that I could make a teeny tiny motion and get a big sound out of it. I gotta do a Slayer video sometime. I think I've just done like one Slayer video ever on my channel, but man, that stuff is great to learn to help you speed up and all that. That'll definitely be why everyone should learn video at some point, right? Do like Angel of Death or Raining Blood, one of those. That'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, stuff like that, it really does help me out. So it's worth experimenting around with, you know, especially knowing what you know now about point of action, point of motion. There's a lot of you guys that might feel more comfortable having that motion be very representative and very accurate. And you'll get that by holding the pick really close to the tip like that right there. And then there's guys like me that get more out of it by exaggerating the motions, by holding the pick a little further out. And again, I just like the sound. Try out both and let me know what works better for you, you know? I'm curious to see if this is just me or if this is something that you guys experience too, you know? If you like to magnify those movements or if you want to keep them super accurate and detailed like that, whichever one works best for you guys. But I recommend trying them both out, seeing if you can see if there's advantages to one or the other that you prefer or don't prefer. I'll be interested to check out your all's responses, so let me know down in the comment section, preferably on the Patreon page. That way we can all discuss and share information and not have to, you know, bounce around to YouTube and stuff. So let's talk about it there in the comments section. Pretty cool stuff. Hopefully that gives you guys some food for thought. Also, let me know what picks you're using, what you're comfortable with for rhythm and lead. I'd like to know about that too. Because like I said, I've just found over the years that kind of the medium-sized picks are pretty good for everything, whereas like really light picks I love for strumming, you know, like recording strumming, because you don't hear it beating the strings up as much. So if I'm tracking like an acoustic or tracking a clean guitar that has strums, I'll use a really light pick, like 0.73 or less, you know, just to get less of that swishy sounding pick attack on there. Also on bass, it's kind of a plot twist, because I know a lot of players that play bass with a pick love to use like the biggest rocks they can find, like those big purple Dunlops, you know, 2 millimeters or whatever. I don't like that at all. Lots of pick noise, lots of like shock absorption in your hands when you play like that, because the pick has no flex on it at all. I find myself like dropping picks left and right whenever I play bass with a really heavy pick that has no flex to it. So I play bass with really light picks. Of course, I just chew them up. I destroy them because of the big old strings, and I play bass really hard when I play with the pick. So I tend to torch them really fast, but oh well, you know, get cheapy picks like those Dunlop Tortexes and stuff, and who cares, you know? And I like the really, really heavy picks for the most delicate playing, just the high string shredding, all that jazz. I remember, I think it was was it the Whitechapel, Our Endless War record? I think it was on that one, yeah, because I did a bunch of solos on that album, and I used my BHL Wizard Pro that I designed with Brock Little at BHL. I used one of the Wizard Pros for everything on there. It's like a huge, like 3.5 millimeter pick with kind of a tapered point on it. And it just sounds huge on those high strings, and it's really easy to maneuver in and out when you're doing really fast runs. And even the producer was just like, I don't know how you're doing this. I hate the sound of heavy picks, but like that thing sounds awesome. But again, I wouldn't track rhythm with it. You know, that's not really my thing. So let me know down in the comments section what you guys like pick-wise. And I'm always interested to hear about that stuff as well. Well, guys, hope you guys have enjoyed another rambling, no edits, one-take episode of Sketches here. And again, if this is a cool topic, maybe this gets turned into a fully produced and edited YouTube video for the masses. But it'll be best if I do it with your all's guidance of letting me know what you did and didn't like about it. So let me know, and I can slap this thing together for a broader audience with a little bit sharper presentation. Well, guys, thanks again so much, as always, for everything that you do. You guys are the best. Let me know what you'd like to see here on the channel, and stay tuned for more cool stuff coming at you. Toodles. Oh, I didn't turn it off, actually.